How's it going, guys? Decided to go through. I wanted to kind of talk. It's a very different thing. I know I've been doing a lot of Final Fantasy lately, but I still play some Yu-Gi-Oh! And I wanted to kind of go through what I've been brewing in Yu-Gi-Oh! On the side. So as a lot of people might know, for me in Yu-Gi-Oh! I am a Madolche one-trick. I play a lot of Madolche and not a lot else. Let me rearrange the order of these a little bit. And this is my current brew of Madolche. It is Madolche, Naturia, Ishizu, Vernusylph, which is a heck of a mouthful. Unfortunately, I can't get this below 46 cards and still have all the cards I want to play. And I'll go through kind of the good and bad and some things that you might consider changing depending on your local metas or whatever you're expecting to play against. So we have 4 archetypes and 4 engines. We're going to go digging right into it and talk about why each of these are good. So first things first, we have the Ishizu cards, all newly limited on the New Forbidden Unlimited list. Agido, Kelbeck, Mudora, and Keldo. These are Earth Fairies. If you wanted to, you could cut all of them except for the Mudora or the Keldo. And you could cut like down to just one of the Mudora and Keldo. It's searchable if you wanted the DD Crow effect from the graveyard, or you can just put these two, replace them with a hand trap or something. I like Bell, but Lancia would also be fine. But in this format, it's probably a little bit safer to run the actual millers, and they do have solid effects. Agido can proc petting on your opponent's turn. Kelbeck is disruption on your opponent's turn. Like there's good reasons why you could consider playing all of them. And when they're all limited, it's a lot easier to kind of justify the tech space for them, which is very funny. So then we're going to go into... I'm going to jump to the Vernusylph cards, because the Vernusylph cards are what brings us all together. So the Vernusylphs are essentially Earth Monster support. You discard them and an Earth Monster, and you can summon back its non-targeting Monster Reborn for an Earth Monster, and a secondary effect. So Vernusylph is a search for a Vernusylph card. Misting Seedlings is a Rhoda for Earth Fairies. Thawing Mountains draws you a card. And Awakening Forest is a Foolish Burial. So you're going to just run 3 Flourishing Hills and 3 Misting Seedlings. These are great because they chain into each other. Misting Seedlings also doubles as a Madolche Rhoda, which is something the deck has wanted for a long, long time. 1 Thawing Mountains, 1 Awakening Forest. Generally, if you can only have one of these, you want Awakening Forest, but there are situations where you already have 2 Vernusylphs and need to search a 4th, and the additional summon can be kind of nice. Lastly, we have 1 Vera, the Vernusylph Goddess. This card is crazy. She's an integral part of the end board of the deck. On your opponent's turn, she's a quick effect Monster Reborn. If you control 5 Earth monsters, she negates an effect on Resolution. And then she's also she's just Snatch Steal, you know. She's Snatch Steal. So, helps you break boards, helps you protect your board. She protects your whole combo, just really good. For the Madolches, the new most important card, I say new, it's always been pretty important, is Angeli. So we're on 3 Angeli, 2 Hoot, 1 Magdalene. There are like corner cases where you still don't mind normal summoning her, but you could even consider cutting the Magdalene out of the deck now. 2 Messengelato. Still don't want to draw these, but they're a lot better now in a world where the Vernusylphs exist. They're easier to get out of the hand. 2 Petting. Petting is now, you don't really want to draw her, and you need 2 of them, because otherwise the Angelis aren't online. And then the 1 Pudding. And then we're just on 1 of every important spell trap. Because we're going to have monsters in the graveyard at all times, you can't really run Knights profitably in this list. But Promenade, Salon, Ticket, and Chateau are all fantastic cards regardless. Lastly, we have the Naturia stuff. This is a pretty small engine. It's just 8 cards. 3 Camella, 3 Mole Cricket. These cascade into each other, which is, again, very important. 1 Sunflower and 1 copy of Sacred Tree. I've seen some people on Naturia Blessing, but I never really saw that much of a use for it. Sacred Tree is the one hard garnet that remains in the deck. If you draw this card, the entire Naturia engine basically falls off. You can't do it. Lastly, for our generics, one copy of Ghost Bell, one copy of Herald, one copy of Pankratops. One Called by the Grave is a power card to kind of stop Ash. I think this deck actually plays through Ash much better than Madolche used to. It's one of the biggest advantages is that the Vernusylphs are both Rhodas and extenders for the deck. But you still do get 2 for 1 by Ash, so having Called by is nice. And it's just an interruption if you need it. 3 Dark Ruler, just to give us some game going second. This could be Lava Golem as well. Would be fine. We don't need our normal summon. And you can actually search Lava Golem if you're willing to lose your Vera for the game. So you can do Small World, reveal any Earth. If you can get to Vera, so as long as you're not revealing a fairy, you can then go for there. But, and then 3 copies of Small World. Small World through Pankratops gets you just about any card in the deck. So you can go reveal any Earth monster, show Pankratops. Pankratops gets you anything that isn't Mole Cricket, which is nice. Mole Cricket, I think if you really need it, you can go, there's some other line that'll work. You can go through something. It's a little tricky because it depends on whether you have a level 3 or level 4 in hand, but I think you can go through Magdalene is probably the easiest one, as long as it's not a level 4, and you don't really mind losing the Magdalene. In the extra deck, we were on a bunch of stuff. Barkion and Beast. Diamond Direwolf is an out to problematic back row. There are plenty of times you can make a rank 4 and don't really care about some other stuff you could do, so Diamond Direwolf is our recyclable out to back row by targeting itself. Dweller, just generically good. Do remember you can't use Dweller on the same turn you use a Vernusylph, which is a little unfortunate. It means that you can't do things like detach, then revive the card you detach with the Vernusylph. Two of each of the Madolche monsters, 1 copy of Baguska in case, for those emergency situations. 1 Boral Sword. I kind of find that there are situations where, like, you just need to clear a really big towers and Boral Sword does it. And since we have so many Earth monsters, access code's not good. And then 1 copy of Outside is just a generic link too. Side deck, the only, a lot of this is pretty standard. The main things are Bamboo Shoot. If you're against like Runic or anything like that, you can just win the game immediately by doing this. I'll go through a line that shows how you can use Bamboo Shoot. Book of Eclipse and Dark Hole are good because I expect to see a lot of branded expulsion. Giving you something will lose you the game on the spot. Also very good against Kashtira. Yeah, so you might be looking at this and say, Ghoul, this is a pile. How does this actually work? So I'm going to go through, I'm going to do a couple of combos, and hopefully deck does have a little bit of breaking potential because we're on 46, but Madolche Vernusylph, we're going to go solo. Let's see what kind of a hand we get. This hand does it. But it does the Madolche thing. So, like with this board, you would end on Pankratops plus the Madolche combo, probably. Let's go. I'm going to show off with 2 cards, kind of the basic thing you can do. So I'm going to get these 2. So we have Flourishing Hills and Camella in hand. So first things first, we're going to go Flourishing Hills, discarding Camella. We're going to special the Camella, and Flourishing Hills is going to search us a copy of the Duck, who is right here. Camella on summon, Foolish Burials, so we're going to send a copy of Sacred Tree. Sacred Tree, if Dueling Book would cooperate. When it's sent to the graveyard, it adds a Naturia, so we're going to add Mole Cricket. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the Duck. We're going to special Mole Cricket. We discard this, special back the Mole Cricket. And the Misting Seedlings is now going to search a copy of Angeli, since we still have not used our normal summon. So we have a couple of different divergent lines here. I'm going to show you. It's very possible to go right here. You can synchro these two for Naturia Beast. If you think your opponent might be on some power spells. So we're going to go synchro into Nat Beast. And then you can revive the Mole Cricket. And then we can quick effect tribute that Mole Cricket to bring out a Sunflower from the deck. At this point now we are protected from Nibiru, we are protected from any spells, and you can go off and you can do the full Madolche combo. Alternatively, what you can do instead of Beast Sunflower is you can go Camella Sunflower. Camella has a replacement effect where you can send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard instead of tributing for Sunflower's effect. So basically this gives you infinite monster negates, although Sunflower is kind of dinky, so you need a really good way of playing around that. Yeah, so this is full Madolche combo. I have a good Madolche combo tutorial. It's pretty similar. If you play it through, you can see kind of how it plays. So let's do reset the deck. Let's run a couple test hands. Let's see what we have. This hand would do it. This is a little bit of a crusty one. You probably would end up losing your pudding sets in this one. You'd have to kind of play a little bit backwards, but this would do it. I'm going to do a hand that doesn't have the pudding sets. This looks great as well. So this is a hand that should get me full combo. So I'm going to go through and show you what exactly that means. So I'm going to go Misting Seedlings, and I'm going to pitch Mole Cricket. So we want to get our monster negate up as quickly as we can. So we're going to special Mole Cricket. Misting Seedlings is going to search Flourishing Hills. And then I'm going to go ahead and tribute my Mole Cricket to summon Camella. I'm going to send a Sacred Tree. Sacred Tree, then let's search. I actually kind of like getting another copy of Camella here. Because we're going to go ahead and small world that away. So we're going to banish Camella. Let's go ahead and banish the Pinkertops out of the deck as our bridge. And let's go ahead and add a copy of Vera to our hand. There are ways of getting this to hand even if you don't small world for it, but in this situation it's a little bit easier if I do end up doing it that way. So let's go Flourishing Hills for Sunflower. Flourishing Hills, we're going to go ahead and search for the Foolish Burial here. So now I have infinite Nibiru protection. Let's go Flourishing Hills and Angeli. We're going to go ahead and summon back the Angeli. And Flourishing Hills, I can send a couple things here. I'm going to go ahead and send a Mudora. Give myself a triple DD Crow. You can send Ghost Spell and add it back to hand. So from here, we're going to do our normal Madolche combo. We're going to tribute the Angeli, summon Petting. Petting summons Pudding. And we're going to go ahead and take these, overlay them into a copy of Tiramisu. We're going to go ahead and overlay on top of that a copy of Chocolate. Chocolate is going to target our Angeli. We're going to detach the petting. Summon Hoot Cake from the deck. Hoot Cake, we're going to target and banish. I like banishing the duck normally, but it doesn't matter. Flourishing Hills or the duck basically do the same thing. Hoot Cake summons Gelato. Gelato searches a spell trap. We're going to add Chateau. This is very standard Madolche. Activate Chateau. Petting back into the deck. We're going to detach again because pudding is not once per turn. And then Gelato isn't once per turn, so we're going to get Salon. We're going to go ahead and overlay into Glass Souffle. Glass, we're going to detach. I'm going to shuffle back. Actually, after activating Salon, I'm going to shuffle back. Let's get a copy of Gelato to hand, and let's get the Flourishing Hills back to hand. So now we get Salon and Pudding, so we get to detach. And Salon. Salon, we're going to set a copy of Promenade, and the a la mode is going to miss timing, so I'm going to summon a Madolche from the deck, just kind of get it into rotation. This is where things get really funny. We're going to go tribute these two for Vera, the Vernusylph goddess. I can use my Salon additional normal summon and then link these two away for a Sistart. So this board is a quick effect on my opponent's turn monster reborn and a negate. Infinite monster negates a copy of Promenade. Glass Souffle, making my cards unaffected. Shuffle back of 3 cards using Mudora. And I have follow-up for next turn as well, because I can add any Madolche back, plus having the Flourishing Hills in hand. So you might think if your opponent tries to run over the Sunflower, you can Monster Reborn it, and then Vera covers the gap. This board beats Dark Ruler. It would take double Lunar Eclipse to beat this, essentially. Or double, like 2 spells are what you need to actually break this board. Pretty darn solid, if I do say so myself. Alternatively, this can be... You can have a Naturia Beast instead of the Camella. If you need fewer monster negates but want more spell trap negates, you can go for Naturia Beast. Pretty self-explanatory, I think. You can also get Barkion if you're against like Labyrinth. So lots of great options. Very, very strong deck. And this board is absolutely ludicrous. So a couple things I wanted to kind of show off. Let's say I'm going to go into another game and I'm against Runic. And I don't think that sighting actually went through. So I'm going to put in my Bamboo Shoot over my Sunflower and swap cards. So I know I need to negate spell traps at all costs. So this hand will do it perfect. Great example. We're going to go Flourishing Hills and Camella. We're going to summon the Camella. Flourishing Hills is going to search me the duck to hand. And Camella is going to... Oh. Dueling Book, please. Camilla sends Sacred Tree. Sacred Tree then adds Bamboo Shoot. And then we go ahead and normal summon that Bamboo Shoot over the Camilla. So at this point now, my opponent cannot activate spell traps. I am free to go off. So from here, I probably would go for Misting Seedlings and Keldo. Let's go ahead and special the Keldo. And Misting Seedlings can search me a copy of Angeli to hand. I can go Awakening Forest and Angeli, special the Angeli, Awakening Forest. I'll probably send a copy of Mudora here. If I want to get a little greedy, I can send Kelbeck or Agido, but there's not really a reason to. And then go off from here. I can go Angeli for petting, petting for pudding. You see where we're at here. We got the full Madolche line. My opponent no longer can activate spells and traps. I can't get the Vera on field with this line. And I'm giving up the infinite monster negates, so you're going to want to use this in matchups where back row matters more. If your opponent can't normal summon a 2000 attack beat stick to beat over this, they will instantly lose. Another alternative you could do as well instead of the Mudora in this situation. Maybe you're worried about protecting the Bamboo Shoot. You could search a copy of the Kelbeck. Assuming your opponent would do anything, you could bounce their whatever they're trying to beat over the Bamboo Shoot with. Also, you could go for Actually, you can get Pankratops into rotation potentially. There's a lot of options for cards that would be very strong here. Pankratops to protect the Bamboo Shoot in combat phase would be nice. So on and so forth. Basically, just a way of preventing your opponent from playing the game. And yeah, that's it for kind of the live section of the duel. As far as other things you can consider, you can actually go into the entire Trap Tricks line is Earth. So it's very possible to make Pinguicula with 2 level 4s. Search out a Murmello, normal summon Murmello. Or turn the Pinguicula into a Sarah, normal summon Murmello. Both search a hole and set a hole, and you end up with 2 back row, and you can overlay the Murmello and anything else into a copy of Rafflesia. So you end up with Rafflesia plus your board with 2 set trap holes. That would be good. Definitely a lot of very interesting, powerful options you could do. So yeah, that's pretty much the list. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll get back to Final Fantasy at some point, but I'm having a lot of fun just goldfishing this deck. It's really, really fun to playtest. I'd say the biggest downside is it's pretty hard to pilot. There's so many different lines because you have these 4 different engines that knowing the right one to go for can be really difficult. Knowing when to make Naturia Beast versus Sunflower plus Camilla is really difficult. Knowing which card to small rolled for is really difficult. Just a lot of really strange lines that you come up in corner cases. And the more you play, the more you see those outs and those changes. But it also is fun to be able to tribute summon the level 8 monster in the year of our Lord 2023 and have it be an optimal play. So yeah, thanks for watching.